Hey VIPs, Stephanie from Mrs. D's Corner. First, I want to apologize for not doing this live yesterday. I completely forgot that this was the week of lives every single day. So I apologize for that, but I'm really excited to pop in twice today. First, this live is going to be about keeping parents in the know and how we can communicate with parents as the teacher, how we can communicate with the parents to kind of keep them in the know with what's going on with their child in the classroom, what's going on at school, and kind of help make them part of our team because they are part of our team. So that's what this live is all about today. So above this video, you are going to see links to resources that I am going to be sharing with you today. There are a couple of freebies. There's also a blog post if you wanted to check it out after or save the blog post for later to come back to. This replay will always be in the VIP group. You just click on the videos tab and then you can find the video here in the VIP group at any time to rewatch as well. So let's get started because I'm really excited to talk to you guys about communicating with parents and kind of all of that fun stuff. So the first way that I think is really important to build this communication with parents is to build a rapport with our parents. And I'll be honest and tell you that I don't like making phone calls home to parents. Like, it is my least favorite thing, whether it is making a good phone call home or a bad phone call home if I'm scheduling a meeting or whatever the phone call is about. Even in my own personal life, I don't like talking on the phone. So it is something that I myself personally am not comfortable with. I can communicate what I want to say very well, but I don't like calling parents on the phone. But as part of my job, we have to communicate with parents, and I can't just give them my personal phone number. I've done it. You can text them, you can email them, you can write them a note home, but sometimes you have to call home and just kind of talk to them, right? So we need to build that rapport, but there's more ways to do that than just call them or email them. The one way that you can do this to support parents is to provide them with a Parent IEP Binder. So this is something that I developed in the last classroom that I was in because I found that a lot of the parents who came to my classroom, their children were early on in their special education career, right? They're early on, they're self-contained, and there's a lot of paperwork that goes along with it. Most of them they had, their 3 or 4 year testing done, and then when they come to me, they have to have it redone. And it's just a great point in time to share this with them and give them this way of keeping all of their things organized. So this is a Parent IEP Binder. It's an IEP toolkit for parents to keep everything organized inside of it. It's similar to the IEP Caseload Binder in that it's an organizational tool. However, it is something completely separate. The IEP Caseload Binder is something more for teachers, whereas this is something specifically for parents. Now, one question I do get about this is if you as the teacher purchase this binder, do you have to purchase a license or another binder for every parent you're going to give this to? And my answer to that question is no. You are providing this resource to the students that are in your classroom, to their families. It's no different than any other resource that you purchase. From me, you need one license to use it with the kids in your classroom. So you only need one license to use this with all of the parents that you're going to be using throughout your educational career. So I hope that makes sense. So there is actually a new theme included in this binder this year. This is the older black and white theme. There's a newer black and white theme that is included in the download that you can print on colored paper. I haven't gotten to prep that one to show you guys what it looks like yet, so this is the older one. But there are a lot of goodies that are in here to help keep the parents informed. So information about my child, medical info, teachers, their acronyms, pre-meeting, what they need to do, their checklist, their IEP team to keep all of that in one place, contact information, they can keep their student's IEP in here, snapshots, behavior plans, transitions. Basically, it is a place for parents to keep all of that cumbersome paperwork in one place. So this is a great place to start. If you know parents are struggling, this is a great place for them to start, just to kind of have one binder. I started out in a 1-inch, and it is going to get bigger as they go through their child's career, but this is something that I start with. So that is one way you can build rapport with parents besides phone calls, emails, and all of that fun stuff, and to keep communication open with the parents and the families that you're working with. The other way to do so is a way that I have shared with you many times, but more in the case of progress monitoring. But the communication stickers, which are also linked above, the communication stickers are great for keeping parents in the know. And that was one of the biggest factors when I created this resource. It was out of a need in my own classroom. I needed to keep parents on the same page as me when it came to what their child was doing in the classroom. So I'm going to hide this, but I would send this home, and this is a freebie in my TPT shop, sequencing the days of the week. There's also sequencing can't see my mouth, which is bothering me. There's sequencing the months of the year in the resource library on my website as well, so they're both free. Anyway, this is an activity we do every single day of the school year. Okay, I send it home, and by just looking at it, you would think, all right, Stephanie performed this. She cut those out perfectly. She spelled it perfectly, kept it all in the box. She is great. She's getting ready to go gen ed, okay? But what mom and dad don't know without me telling them is that maybe this was cut out hand over hand. Or maybe I cut this out for the child and they glued it on, right? The parents don't know that by looking at this without you writing on it or a sticker. I used to write on papers and let parents know, like HOH is hand over hand. Did it individual, right? But then they have to learn the lingo, and that's fine. They can learn the lingo. It's super easy to pick up if you're using the same things over and over again. But we also, as teachers and as your paraprofessionals, we all need to be on the same team, but we also don't have all the time in the world to go through and write on every single student's paper, hand over hand. I cut it out for them. We did it hand over hand to glue it on their own. Like, we don't have time to do that for every single kid in our classroom. Like, there are so many other things that we have to do. And that's why I created these stickers, which you just put on there. I think there are over 40 stickers now in the download. You just print them onto the Avery labels. And then these are what they look like. This is one of them. This is complete refusal. Ow, clipped my finger in the clipboard. Refusal to complete work. Data collected. I'll just show you a couple of them. You have seen these before though. If you're new here, you may have not. Modified assignment, completed in small group, grade improvement, extended time to complete, not feeling well during the lesson. This is one where maybe a student does really well all the time, and then they had like a flop on one of the lessons. I can say, well, he wasn't feeling hot, or maybe he was tired, so I would put that on there. Target met, target not met. So these are ways for you to easily communicate to parents. I typically cut down the line through the middle and then put all of like my individualized stickers on a binder ring and keep them in their color-coded work bins, or their bins that they have. And then I can just grab them, and paras can do it. I can give it to the resource teacher, the gen ed teacher, and they can help me keep data. So when we go to inclusion, the parent's like, how's your child doing in inclusion? They come back to me and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I talked to her, she says he's doing great, but like, maybe they go independently, right? It's even a way for all of us. I mean, we're all going to stay on the same team. So it's a great way, an easy way to keep all of us on the same team, right? And keep us all informed of everything that's going on. So that's the second way. The first way is the Parent IEP Binder. The second way are the communication stickers. The third way for you to keep communication open with the parents is through a communication binder with your kids, or a communication notebook. This is what I use with my kids. It comes in like a big size like this. I print 2 to a sheet, and I print 2 of them at a time, and then I'll go cut them. I'll go print them on the copier so that they're front back. So when I bind them, this one's not front back because I printed it at home. When it's front back, then I have easy access to every day of the week. I'm not wasting the back of a piece of paper. I create one of these for every single marking period at the beginning of the year. So I create 4 per student. That way I can just grab these when the marking period changes. They're really simple to make. All you do is you just paste, you just copy front back, cut in half, and then put it in a binder ring. This one has a laminated cover. I do like using laminated covers and backs because then they hold up throughout the entire school year, and I don't have to replace the cover every year or every marking period. So this is something that I use in my classroom. Sorry, I'm backwards to you guys, but you're not backwards. Still have to get used to that. This is what I use in my classroom every single day to communicate with parents about how their child's day was. The schedule is in here with emojis. Emojis are really fun for the kids, and they respond well to emojis. They know what the emojis mean. that's technology these days. So this is something that I use because the kids know when we talk about how their day was, they can help me fill it in and they know what certain emojis mean. If not, parents can see it here, and usually within a couple of weeks they're picking it up. So there's space in here. I usually just take a marker and circle, or I have the kids circle it in or fill it in and tell how their day was, and then I'll write any comments at the bottom. This was a sticky note that I printed on. I put notes at the bottom, please send extra clothes. And you can write in there, like if tomorrow is a field trip or you have a scholastic book order, you can write it in the bottom. Or if you just want to say your child had a fantastic day, they really, really enjoyed inclusion today, anything along those lines, that's where I put this all down here in the comment section underneath. It just gives them a way to kind of keep track. So PE tomorrow, don't forget to bring shoes, or the book fair is coming. You can either write it in there, or if you know you're going to be sending it in every single one, you can just print it on a sticky note, and it's super easy. So communication notebooks are easy to do. They're very functional for the classroom, and they're a great way to keep parents. Parents can also write back to you in them as well. So I really, really like that. I have a bunch of different, you can put them on clipboards and send them home once per day. I like to make them smaller and put them in backpacks because it less space, less paper. The other way that you can keep parents, on the same page as you is through calendars. And you can easily, like at the beginning of the year, you can do one of these. Now I have the dual flip book, I have the freebie, and then I also have this one that is, you just print it and fold it and it's good to go for the back to school. But then I also have these ones that I use throughout the school year to keep parents informed of what's on the calendar, what's coming up, whether it's a district calendar, the school calendar, or maybe it's just classroom specific. I use these flip calendars. So it comes in quarterly, there's 3 different ways. 4 calendars, and then there's one that's twice a year, and then one that you're sending triannually. Right? Is that the correct word? Sending it 3 times a year. Our classroom is our school does grades every marking period, so there are 4 marking periods. And so I send one home each marking period. So let's pull, I just printed these. That's why I was a little late, because I thought that I had these, but I didn't. So you have the parent calendar, and they are editable, so you could easily write in here, or what you could do is send this home with a calendar. You could write your notes in here, but it's an easy way for parents to also keep track. So progress reports are coming out on this day. We have Scholastic Book Fair on this day. I'm really pumped about Scholastic Book Fair for some reason. I love books, so that makes sense. You could say, we have gym on these days. This is the day of what the specials are. If you have an IEP coming up, you could easily mark that individually on a calendar. It's great for that. Put a magnet on the back, and parents could keep it on their fridge so that they have this calendar that does 4 entire months. Well, this one's 3. Does 3 entire months at once instead of having to change it out every so often. Put them on pretty paper, send them home black and white. It doesn't matter. You can even have your kids help you fill them in. They're a great way to keep parents in the know as well as to what's going on and the big picture, like school-wise, district-wise, but also individually for your classroom. What's coming up? Fun Food Friday. This Friday we're cooking this. This Friday we're cooking this. Or, a special reader this day. Whatever you guys are doing, you can keep it on track, parents, for that way. The other way to do it is if you're super tech savvy. Well, the other way to communicate with parents, if you're super tech savvy when it comes to blogging and websites and creating all of that fun stuff. My last school, we did have to have a district website, district page for all of our stuff. You could do that if you're super tech savvy and you kind of want to go above the bar. That's fantastic. Parents love it. Put your schedule on there, change out your peak of the week, all of that stuff. You could have parent downloads on there for things for them to practice at home with their kids. So that is another way to keep parents in the loop. It's not necessary unless your district does require it. I know some do, some don't, but it is another way to keep parents in the know. We're always on the go, so it's a great way for parents to just be able to look, oh, what's Miss D doing this week in the classroom? This is what you're going to learn, and they can log onto the website and see it instead of having to send home paper. So it keeps it gives them the technology advantage to keeping track of what's going on in the classroom. So I hope you enjoyed this live. I am going to be back in about 30 minutes to share with you how to schedule. I'm going to walk through different ways. Well, not different ways. There's only one way that I really do schedule. but kind of tips and tricks for setting your schedule for your classroom for those of you that get overwhelmed with having 12 different kids or 10 different kids or even 8 different kids schedules and having to schedule it into, the giant school schedule. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out. I'm here, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.